Hi my Ibis painters, your favorite art teacher here. In this in-depth tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to paint semi-realistic portrait on IbisPaint, and this includes painting skin, eyes, nose, lips, and hair. This is the only tutorial or mini course you'll ever need on portrait painting. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So this is the sketch and I have my color palette right here. I'll be giving you guys the color palette as well. And if you want to draw the same kind of portrait, you can just take a screenshot and kind of trace over it. That's perfectly fine. Now I'm using airbrush tape Zoid 40% all along the video. I will let you guys know if I change the brush. And I picked up this really dark brown color which I highlighted. And you are going to fill in the face like this and the hair as well. Then alpha lock the layer where you have filled the face up and pick up airbrush again, and then I am picking up this skin color. I don't know why I do not really, yeah, this one. So pick up any color, like I have 3 options for skin color, base skin color, and you have to start shading over the dark brown color. So what we're doing is, what we usually used to do is we used to just put the skin color as base color, and then we used to add shadows. Now what we have done here, we have actually we are going from shadows to the lightest part of the skin, and this way it was actually really easy to paint skin. And yeah, it was fun as well. So that's the reason why I am actually going in this reverse order, where I put this dark color down first on the face and then we move towards the lightest color, if that makes any sense. Now you must have seen a lot of videos already on the internet where people are doing this, but this process, or this technique, if I should call it a technique, is really good, and I really enjoyed doing it and the results were really good. So that's what you want to do right here, making sure that you're leaving some sort of brown around the face. Now create another layer. Now we're going to do eyes. For the eyes, we are going to do the same thing. Make sure you're doing this on a separate layer. So I have picked up this really dark, deep brown color, and I'm like covering the eye part of it, but you have to make sure you're doing it in a separate layer. I kind of forgot to create another layer at the time. Also, you want to make sure you're putting some sort of lighter brown color before this one. You guys will know what I'm talking about just in a minute. But yeah, here we are also again following the similar process. We're going from how do I explain this? So you know how some things, blend in with your skin. So if you are putting on some eyeshadow on over the lids, that is going to blend in with the skin as well, correct? So what we're doing is we're laying the first color down, which is this one, which I'm going to show you right here, which is I don't know which brown this is, this one, which is pretty dark. So I'm just spreading this out around this dark color. This represents the eyeshadow bit I was talking about and how it actually blends in with the skin. So the whole idea is here to first put in the color which is going to blend in with the skin and then going inwards, okay? I hope this is making sense. Just the way we did for the skin. We laid down this dark brown color, then we went over with our skin color. All right, so if this is confusing, just ignore what I'm saying. Just follow what I'm doing. So here I added this dark brown color, and I am kind of making sure it's softer around the edges. That's what I'm doing right here, and you have to do it in just one layer because I kind of forgot to put that dark brown kind of thingy on a separate layer altogether, and I started creating it. I actually painted those in 2 separate layers, which is completely fine. If you want to create 2 separate layers, create 2 separate layers. Now we are going to pick up some sort of this grayish, this whitish grayish kind of color for the white part of the eye. And as you guys can see, I have decreased the opacity of that deep brown color so that we can see where we have to paint over, all right, based on our sketch lines. So that's what I'm doing here, again on a new separate layer. I'm doing this on a new separate layer again, and obviously this is going to be above the dark brown colored layer. I hope all this is making sense. As you guys can see right here, I have two separate layers for both of those. All right, now I actually increase the opacity of the layer underneath it. And now what I'm doing is I am blending out the brown shade around the eyes. And not only that, I'm also actually bringing that towards the nose as well. Now, as you guys just saw how I actually blended it out with just using the brush, I do have a tutorial on how to blend without using a smudge brush. I actually try not to use smudge brush because I don't know, I just like to kind of blend my colors with the brush I'm using, so that's what I'm doing. But if it's hard for you, it's okay, you can always use a smudge brush. Make sure the opacity is really low. But here we're just creating the shape of the nose, and now what we're doing is we are creating another layer and we are painting the iris. And I picked up this really desaturated not dark but desaturated blue color, and we are using this color for the iris of the eye. Simple process, just fill in the whole circle with the color like this on both the sides. I'm gonna let you guys watch. Now once you're happy with the filled in color, alpha lock the layer and pick up a darker version of the color, or just black color. I just picked up black color straight up. And with the similar brush, I am adding this shadow right at the top of that iris. And you can always just decrease the opacity if you want to make sure you're not putting a lot of pigmentation, because we are using black color, so we gotta be careful here. So yeah, that's what we are doing here, creating shadow over the iris. And I haven't speed this this clip up so that you guys can do it. If you're doing it along with this video, then yeah, that's gonna be helpful for you as well. And the next step is going back to the layer where we, added that deep brown color for the whole eye shading thing. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna pick up any pink color, make sure it's a little desaturated and a little darker, and we're gonna add it around this white part of the eyes like this, just to add that much more depth to the eyes like that. So I first of all go ahead and I am actually really gentle at this point, making sure I'm not putting in too much color on that area of the eyes, because obviously we're using pink color, red color, which is too much, and we don't want to make her look as if she's high or whatnot. We're just trying to add some depth to the eyes. That's what we're doing. Then I went ahead and darkened that color up. And then I, again, with the smaller size brush, I added that as a shadow. As you guys can see how much depth it added to the eyes. And yeah, that's how you paint that part of the eye. It's really, really easy. Really easy. Just keep it simple. Do not keep on painting over it, okay? Once you're satisfied, just leave it there. I used to be like that. I used to just keep on painting on certain areas even after I was like satisfied with the output or with the result. Now picking up this color, and I am adding this color on the eyelids. Now as you guys can see how the brown color we added initially, how now it's actually creating the shadow around the lids, and it's nicely blended with the skin, nicely blended with the eyelids as well. And I also actually toned down the brown as well, just a little bit. So again, I picked up this brown color and I am going over this crease area just to make that crease area, or just to add depth to that crease area, like that. As you guys can see how good it is looking, okay? So that's what we're doing here. Be gentle with your brush, okay? Do not put a lot of pressure if you don't want to add too much color. That's it. That's how you actually blend with your brush. You just don't put much pressure onto the screen. And I'm actually taking this color around the eyebrows as well, like this, just to kind of give the forehead a little bit of shape. So now I picked up that brown color. I am sure you must have seen that, and I'm adding that around the eyelids again. Now what we're doing, we are creating this black part of the eye. I suppose you call it pupil. Yes, we're creating pupil, and we are going to be creating some sort of highlight around the pupil. Yeah, that's it. That's for the eyes, but I'll be retouching the eyes later on again. I also went ahead and on that layer where we started shading the eyes, I picked up this brown color, decreased the opacity of the brush, and I filled in the eyebrow part. Now in this video, I did not really show you guys how to draw eyebrows. I'll be creating a whole another video on that because that actually deserves a separate tutorial. Other than that, I already have eyebrow tutorials. I'll be listing all those down in the description. So that's what I did right here. Now we are gonna shade nose. For that, I actually perfected the sketch lines first. So I'm just erasing the parts which I think I do not really need. That's what I'm doing. And then I am creating a new layer for our nose shading part, picking up this color, and I'm adding this color all over the nose. Now I know this looks very messy, but believe me, it turns out really, really good. Okay, so you just have to fill the nose in and also make sure you're adding some color around the nose as well. So we're starting with the first color, the color which will be blending out with the skin. I hope this is making sense. If not, just follow what I'm doing. Okay, just fill the nose in with this color, picking up this next dark deep brown color, again starting to fill the nose in, but this time around we're not spreading this color out a lot as we did as the previous one, but we're just focusing this color more inwards, if that makes any sense. Again, picking up another deep brown color, a smaller size brush. I am adding this right here just to create this sort of shadow under the nose. And yeah, I know it's looking really, really crazy, but the results were really, really good. You guys will just see in a minute. I will let you guys watch. Now, once I was happy with that, I decreased the opacity and increased the size of the brush, and I went over around the nose like this just to make sure we're blending out all the colors together. And now we're picking up this skin color. You can just pick up the basic skin color which you used initially, or you can just use any skin color. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, make sure to use the base skin color. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna add this color the bridge of the nose, on the tip of the nose, and around the nose a little bit. And as you guys can see, our nose is already ready. So that's how easy it was. So I really kind of like this reverse order kind of technique where you put the shadows first and then you put the lightest part or the lightest color later. And here I just erased this part of the nose, going back to that sketch lines because I did not really need that. And also erased some part of the sketch lines as well. So that's what we're doing, erasing it. And then we are gonna pick up smudge brush and gonna smudge out anything which is left there around the nose and the sketch lines, if you're talking about the sketch lines, okay? Because it's just looking too much. Now go back to the nose layer and pick up the skin color kind of color, and then just really lightly go over the nose like that, just to tone it down a little. Then I picked up this pink color for blush, just to make it look a little pink. And I'm adding it around the nose like this and over the nose just a little bit. So as you guys can see, it's looking really, really good. Now going back to the face layer, picking up this color, I'm gonna start adding shadows around the cheeks and on the forehead as well. Now there's like nothing much to explain. All I'm doing is I'm like barely touching the screen to make sure I'm not putting in a lot of color, and so that we don't have to use smudge brush later. That's the trick. If you don't want to use smudge brush, just put less pressure onto the screen. You'll be good to go. So that's what I'm doing. I'm adding these shadows around the cheek area and forehead and on the ears as well, really, really lightly. Then pick up this color. And again, just start brushing it over the color we previously added. It's like we're building the shadows up, okay? We're just slowly building all the shadows up. And I also added this around the lip area as well. As you guys can see, it's looking good. It's already looking really, really good. Pick up this dark brown color now. And I'm going to be adding this on the ear part, as you guys can see, close to the face, just to create this sort of shadow, as if they are kind of behind the face, which they are, but you have to actually, make it look like that. Going back to the sketch line layer, we are going to start painting the lips, and the first step is to blend out the sketch lines like this, because they were looking too much. You want to make sure you're blending those sketch lines out before you start painting it. Now again, we are going to be, before we start adding any color to the lips, what I'm doing here is, I don't know why I did this step, this blush step now. All I'm doing is I'm adding this blush on the cheeks and on the forehead as well. I always add a little bit of pink color on the forehead, just looks really, really good. And I picked up this color before we start adding color to the lips. What we're doing is we're adding shadows around the lips like this. Nothing much to explain, just adding shadows around the lips like this. Okay, and again, I picked up another darker color and added more shadows. Now create a new layer for the lips, and I'm picking up this color, and I'm just gonna add this color in the middle of the lips, like right in the middle of the mouth, just there. And if you want, you can just fill it out, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick up smudge brush and make sure the opacity is below 50% or maybe 40%. Do not increase it above that. And using the smudge brush, you can actually spread this color out all over the lips. Now you can fill the lips in, but I like doing this, okay? This is a much better technique to paint lips. Once you're happy, pick up a darker version of the lip color you have chosen, and then just start adding a little bit of shadows around the mouth and in between the mouth, right under the lower lip, like I did. And now we are moving on to highlighting the face. Now you can just use any light skin color if you want, but here I am using white color. So the trick here is to make sure in the first go you are putting really, really less pressure onto the screen, so that we are barely getting anything out of the brush. And then what you do is you decrease the size of the brush and just increase the pressure you're putting onto the screen. So I'm adding this, as you guys can see, I've added some white color in between the eyebrows, the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose, tip of the nose, cupid bows, and also a little bit on the chin as well. Now it looked funny around the mouth, so I went ahead and picked up my smudge brush and smudged it out. It's really, really easy, you guys. I have tons of tutorials on highlights. I will list all those down below, but highlighting is really, really easy, and it's also really necessary just to bring that face out. Now I'm gonna highlight lips as well. For that, I'm not gonna use white color. I'm just gonna use a lighter version of the lip color that I had used, and I'm adding that as highlight for the lips. They look juicy. Okay, so that's what I did right there. Now you're gonna pick up Dip Pen Soft. We're gonna be creating eyelashes. I already had this on the sketch that I had, but I'm just gonna go over that, and yeah, that's easy. And I'm gonna actually create another in-depth tutorial for eyelashes. because it deserves it. Okay, it deserves a separate video. Once you are done with that, we are now, I guess we are moving on to hair. I believe so. Yes, we are. So for hair, because we have added the color on a separate layer, make sure you enable elf lock. We are here first adding shadows. For the hair like this, just pick up the darker version of the color that you have used for the hair. Then pick up a lighter version of the hair color you have used and just add it wherever you want some sort of light on the hair, like that. It's easy. Once you're happy, what we're gonna do, we are going to actually smudge out those sketch lines. They look off. They look really off. So you want to make sure you're smudging that out. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right here. Just smudge it out. Make sure whenever you're smudging something out, make sure the opacity is really low, because I've realized on IbisPaint, the smudge brush is really, what should I say? Really powerful. I don't know how I don't know what word I'm looking for, but it's just too much. It just blends out everything a little too much. So you want to make sure you just decrease the opacity to make sure you're not blending everything out. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna let you guys watch. Going back to the layer where we created hair and disabling elf lock, I picked up black color and I added it right here just to kind of add some shadow around the hair. It should look that it belongs to the head. Now go back and pick up dip pen hard. And yeah, I'm picking up the darkest brown color we have in the palette. And we are going to create hair-like strokes over the hair. Okay, now I do have a tutorial on hair on IbisPaint. Again, I'll be listing all the videos that you should be watching down the description, but you don't really need it because I'm actually showing you guys here. I'm just creating hair-like strokes. Then once I was happy, I increased the size, increased the opacity, and I started adding more hair strokes. Now these are more subtle ones, and these are gonna kind of create this shadow kind of thing for the hair. So that's the reason why I do it. So basically you want to add hair strokes with high opacity, where the opacity of the brush is up to the max, and then with low opacity and with larger sized brush, if that makes any sense. So as you guys can see, the hair are looking actually good. Now I went back and picked up airbrush, Trapezoid 40%, and for the smudge brush, and I started smudging it. So for the smudge brush as well, make sure you're just picking up airbrush rather than anything else, because it works the best. And again, yeah, I'm just going over all the hair strokes that I created over the hair, making sure the opacity is low, because again, we don't want to move everything, because the smudge brush actually moves the pixels, the color we have on a specific area. So you want to make sure you're decreasing the opacity before you go over, or before you even decide to blend something in. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just blending all the hair strokes out so they look natural, realistic, easygoing. So yeah, that's that. And again, I picked up the brush with low opacity, and I started adding some hair strokes around the forehead or on the forehead, just to kind of blend the hairstyle with the head itself, as you guys can see. So what it's doing is yes, we are creating some hair strokes, but also we are also adding some shadows right where the hair and the skin meets, so that they kind of look that they belong to just one head, if that makes any sense. Creating another layer, changing the layer mode to add, picking up the hair color you used, and picking up airbrush. Like this, we're gonna add highlight. It's really easy. First, we're gonna go in with larger sized brush like this, and we're gonna add some highlight. Then we are gonna decrease the size of the brush and add more highlights. Then we are gonna decrease the size of the brush even more and kind of add a little dots over there like this to create nice highlighted looking hair. Now we are done with the hair. I went back and added little dots, little white dots over the highlights we created on the face like that. And I also added some highlights or some white color around the eyes like this. So this is like the final retouching for the portrait painting, and that's what I did. The eyes look really, really good. And yeah, basically here I'm just retouching everything, and you are done with your portrait painting. That's how simple it is. Really hope you guys found this in-depth tutorial helpful. If you did, give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, it really helps. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.